a suicide mission. He will just die there because there was nothing. So yeah, some people make all the excuses that yeah, because he's been beaten before, he had to be cautious. And he just wanted to get a win, so he fought like he fought with a little bit of conservativeness, but ultimately at the end of the day, it was not an impressive one for me. Tega Onojaife of Abraka Delta State, Nigeria. And eventually he said it himself, he should have knocked him out, which is what I expected. So let's end the discussion there. Now that he knows what he should have done, hopefully he'll do it the next time. But it wasn't an impressive fight. It wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, you could tell throughout the fight that he was winning each round. You could tell for most of the rounds that he was winning. But ultimately, I was just like, is this you mean you came back
Can
for
we cut the
this?
guy some slack though?
Not me. Not me. You cut him slack.
I think
He
most
won.
people
He won.
win.
He won. That's the good news for me.
Australian Grand Prix winner on Sunday after two late red flags and a slew of crashes threw the race into chaos just before the Red Bull driver was allowed a processional victory lap around Albert Park.
Oh God, Australian Open, that Melbourne Park. He gave us everything that could have happened in a race happened on that day. So race starts first. The first lap of the race. As a takeoff, cars trying to jostle for position, trying to overtake each other. First of all, Max Verstappen didn't get off the line well, and in most of the restarts, he really didn't get off the line as well as he usually would. But he has a faster car. He knows his car is a bullet train, and let's just say the rest of the cars are normal trains. So he kind of knows that regardless of where I start, when I get on the track, I'm going to overtake these people. And that was his advantage. But the race starts, George Russell, finished on during qualifying, and Hamilton, who finished third during qualifying, overtook him. Now, this is a Mercedes car that is still struggling for pace. They overtook a Red Bull at the start of the race. We go around, but there was a crash, and Charles Leclerc was knocked out of the race. I said racing incident. Charles Leclerc was mad at the world. His luck is just horrible. But safety car comes out. They take his car out. Race continues. We go around again halfway, and then Kevin Magnussen decides to hit the wall, like driving on his own. Nobody pushed him. This guy was trying to get away from the dirty side of the track, and then he hits the wall. Red flag. They stop the race. um Everybody has to go back in. They restart this race, and I'm not 6 cars crash.
How?
Three laps to the end, 6 cars crash. They were all jostling for position. You know how it is. If you are at the beginning of the race, you're like, okay, there's still like 40 something laps that I can overtake in. But with 3 laps left, you're just like, it's a sprint. So let's quickly, get in there. Come and see cars climbing on each other. It was mad. Now, 2 Alpines who were in great position to win points now knocked each other out. It was Gasly actually that knocked Ocon, that hit his teammate Ocon into the wall. So, but both of them crash out of the race. So now both of them have no points. And then the race directors now took their time, and then they came back with the right decision. So because they had not gone past the sector, they hadn't completed the sector, they had to go back to the original lap. They came to the right decision, started the race again, and just to get to the checkered flag, nobody could overtake, but everybody got their points. I was like, it seems like the only time since I've watched F1, and I've watched F1 in a long time, it seems the only time that the race directors got a decision wrong was with Lewis Hamilton's World Championship. I'm just like, every time since then, every time before then, every time since then. I'm just like,
side eye.
Side eye. But it was a chaotic race. There was drama all over. Unfortunately for George Russell, his engine caught fire. It made me think about the Mercedes car, because I used to think that their reliability was great. They just needed to find pace. But when his engine caught fire, I was just like, okay, they too have reliability issues. Red Bull have also shown that they have reliability issues. So I think at the end of this season, it's going to be as fast as the Red Bull are and as clear as they are out in front of the other cars. It's going to still be an interesting season. It's not going to be straightforward, because Max Verstappen won yesterday, but it still wasn't as straightforward as should have been. So interesting that the season is just throwing up different things for us. But yeah, it was a good race yesterday. Very good race.
All right, let us know what your thoughts are. 0809 440 981. All right, so moving on to Miami, Petra Kvitova drew on all her experience to claim her
Oh,
30th WTA singles title with straight sets Miami Open victory win over Elena Rybakina
all
on
right.
Saturday.
So this is how it is, and which is why I always tell people that because of the way tennis, especially singles tennis, is played, with doubles tennis, you can tap into your partner's energy or confidence or whatever it is. But if you are deflated in a singles match, you are deflated. And so the first set, it goes into a tiebreaker, and this tiebreaker refused to break. They kept going from 1-1 to 2-2 to 3-3 to 4-4 till they got to 12-12. My sister, they were just going back and forth. One of the longest tiebreakers I've seen. And so it was always going to be that whoever lost that tiebreaker was going to be a bit disappointed. And if the person didn't shake it off immediately, they were not going to be able to play a good second set. Unfortunately for Rybakina, she lost the tiebreaker, and she lost it on her racket. In the crucial moment, she was the one that seemed to have the better serves. They played a little longer on Kvitova's serves, but with her serves, it seemed like the games were a bit shorter. But she lost on her serves, and she was deflated, and you could tell she carried that into the second set. She was second guessing herself. She was frustrated. It was always going to happen. So it wasn't, even towards the end of the match, you could see it was Kvitova that was struggling physically, but she was winning on the mental part. And she said it at the end of the match. She said, I've been in several finals. That's her 30th title. And she has Grand Slam titles amongst those titles. So she's like, I've been in several finals, and I know I play well in finals. So it was the mindset that she used to overcome Rybakina. But Rybakina has had a great year so far. Played in several finals, played in Australian Open finals, won Indian Wells. And then she's also played in Miami finals. So she's having a good season so far, but it would have been great to just be winning most of these finals, and most of them have come down to that mental strength. So tough luck for her, but great one for Petra Kvitova, who has come back from what was a horrific knife attack in her home, to be able to come back to the top and win another title. So good work for her. On the men's side, which was where my joy was, Daniel Medvedev did the Lord's work and completely obliterated Yannick Sinner. Now, Yannick Sinner will say that he had a little physical ache here. He had to call out the trainer. Yeah. But it all came down from what he suffered against Alcaraz. Playing against Alcaraz is always physically tasking. He'd make you run. Yannick Sinner is young. He has great movement. And so he was able to run around with Alcaraz, but I don't think there was not much left in the tank when he had to face a Daniel Medvedev. So, and then of course he had that injury that he had to struggle with. So, he was briefly swept aside. But great one for Daniel Medvedev. I'm sure he was looking to play another Alcaraz, and he was like, no, I don't want to do this. But he made it to the final, which was his job to do. Alcaraz didn't, and he won the title, and Alcaraz didn't. So, congratulations to Daniel Medvedev. For Yannick Sinner, don't beat Alcaraz again.
All right, let's take a break. We'll continue the conversation on the other side.
Okay, before we take a break, let me just read one message from Zikolo.
Okay.
It says, he said, good morning, Tega and Zibby. Jesus came alive for us. Yeah, I'm pronouncing it as Jesus. Jesus came alive for Arsenal a week earlier than Easter. For Chelsea, I think it was unfair to have sacked Potter when they know he has a family to feed. I agree with you.
Are you serious?
Rigas, yes, now. Rigas
That should be
gone
Rodgers.
as well. Oh, sorry. Rodgers gone as well. Sorry.
I hope Arsenal wins the league eventually.
Yeah. So, your Rigas, I'm still trying to get to it. But yes, I agree with him. How can you sack a man in these tough times? We'll be talking about that after the break. Yeah,
I know what side y'all are leaning towards. But it was about time, man.
No.
Time.
Like when he played on Saturday, I was just like, if they don't sack this guy, I'm going to meet him for his jazz man. Man, he's jazz man. The
guy had like 10 lives. Oh my
And like
goodness.
this Juju guy, they work overtime.
It was about time.
If they don't sack him, yeah, no.
Wait, Brendan Rodgers, wasn't he at Man City or
Yes.
Arsenal
Okay,
a long time ago and they fired him?
Liverpool.
All right. Yeah. Why is this thing showing up here? Why is it not going?
It's you that press spoil,
No.
oh.
What is this? I don't know what this is.
Is there no way you can close it?
I don't know what it is.
Ah.
Tega, I'm sure you're a snitch. Honestly, I'll go and snitch to your parents. What your siblings did.
No, it depends on how it turns out. See, if you offend me in a grave way, I report you. But if you did it for all of us, who did it? I don't know.
In my house, I was always the one they asked before, because without even thinking, I'll just say the truth. Sometimes I even see my parents try not to laugh, and then I'll see my siblings looking at me like they are about to kill me.
Killed you.
Like that was looking. But I wasn't snitching. I was just responding to a question. Honestly.
You're such a terrible child.
This is the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1. It's Tega and Zibby with you. 0809 4440981. That is the WhatsApp number. And of course, you can catch the live stream up on YouTube at Smooth 981.
All right, let's take this message. Let's start with this message from Larry from the abroad. Please read.
All right, Larry says, chaos everywhere and first race ever with 3 red flags. Shame to see Russell's chance to be on the podium taken away from him. What a brilliant start that was from him to take Max going into turn 1. But what manner of man is Alonso to immediately relate to the team after being spun that they would have to reverse the grid as they did some years before in Silverstone, and he was still in with a podium chance. Mortal drivers would have been complaining on the radio asking for penalties. P.S. Michael Massey was in the paddock this weekend.
Yeah, so also, that was the one that even upsets me. So Michael Massey's in the paddock, and they're like, whatever your allegiance was in Abu Dhabi, remember he's a human being. And I've said this thing before. You know, everybody says Verstappen, it was Verstappen's first title, and he's been marred by the controversy. Michael Massey's a human being. You're allowed to make mistakes. Do you know the only person that doesn't get all this empathy?
Lewis Hamilton.
All right, so let's move to the next story.
Chelsea have finally sacked manager Graham Potter. They said this on Sunday after a string of poor results left the team 11th in the Premier League. Now, his last game in charge was Chelsea's 2-0 league loss at home to Aston Villa on Saturday.
All right, so this one is crazy. First of all, I'll say one of the first people to be happy would be Aubameyang, and it happens to many players. You know, a manager comes in and he doesn't have faith in a particular player. He doesn't even try the player. It's like what's happening to Drew Aribo in Southampton. When he came when Hudson Hutu was there, Drew Aribo was playing all the time. Every once in a while he'd score, he'd create an assist, but he was playing regularly. Now, I'm not even sure they remember. They'll be like, Aribo, oh yeah, he's that guy that plays for us, put him on the bench. Wow. You know, he's an afterthought. It happens to some managers. But Aubameyang will be one of the first people to be happy. But yes, it was always going to come. At some point, I was so sure. I was so sure that this guy had somebody's nudes. Because, you know, especially for a team like Chelsea where the expectations are high, they don't want to, their own is not to have a legacy like Sir Alex Ferguson. They don't want a philosophy or a way they play. They just want trophies. That's their philosophy. Their philosophy is trophies. They don't have style. They don't want class. They don't care. They just want trophies. And so when a team like that demands so much of you, and this guy kept failing match after match, time after time, competition after competition, and he was still there, I was certain. I was like, this guy's phone is full of stuff. But on a Sunday, it's wickedness though. So
on the Lord's Day. On
a Sunday, the Lord's Day, a young man with 2 young children.
By the way, he was also born on my birthday.
Yeah, can you imagine?
My birthday.
Your birthday mate. And a young man with 2 young children and a wife, a stay-at-home mother in this hard economy, was now fired. I don't pity him. He'll get a job next week because this one that I fired Brendan Rodgers from Leicester City, he will get a job. This thing, that's
always get jobs.
I want to be a manager because think about it. Guess who the favorite to replace him is? Julian Nagelsmann. who was fired. Yes, who was fired a few weeks ago from Bayern Munich. I'm just like, I'm going to do that managerial course in this life. And maybe I'll start today. I'm going to research today. I'm going to do it. I want to become a manager because they have good job opportunities. That's what they do. So yes, so Chelsea fans, the numbers to call are 01. Your redemption has come. Today we are doing freedom for you people. The numbers to call are 01
4489981.
Tell us what your preference would be, considering the players that you've bought, and tell us what you thought about the whole Graham Potter to Burnley situation.
Pottergate.
Again, the numbers to call are
01 4489981.
All right. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Yes, your name and your location, please. All right, go ahead.
It's such a good news to hear the sacking of Graham Potter. We have been clamoring for it. Now we've got this. So the problem will now be who is the next person to take over the job, because that is where it lies. But let's see what Nagelsmann will be able to do there.
Okay. So he thinks Nagelsmann should take the job. Hello, good morning. Okay. All right, let's take this one. Hello, good morning. Yeah. Your name and your location, please. All right, Bash, what do you think about the whole Potter situation, and how do you think the next manager would handle this?
It's 6 months too late now. I'm not a Chelsea fan, but it's 6 months too late. What my ground with Bowley is that he thought that he bought a club in MLS where there's no relegation. So when this guy dropped to 11th position, they just reminded him that there's relegation in Premiership, because he's coming from America. He doesn't know what football is all about. 6 months too late. The guy has been there for 9 months. Very poor result. And the next manager, maybe Nagelsmann is okay.
Okay.
But the problem is be able to fit into the English system.
All right.
So he'll be able to, if it's long term, if it's going to be given a long term contract, Nagelsmann can be able to change the trajectory of the club. But we don't know whether he'll be able to win trophies.
Okay.
Because Nagelsmann is not very good at winning trophies, although he has won the Bundesliga, just won. But he can make the team competitive, but winning trophies is another ball game altogether.
All right. Thank you. Hello, good morning. Yes, your name and your location, please. All right, go ahead. What do you think about the whole Pottergate situation?
I would love to be your assistant. But after taking my budget, just be your assistant.
Oh, okay. Too many people are happy that they fired a man.
I mean,
too many people.
Can you blame anyone?
Starting from the person in the studio. I don't like the way you're smiling. You're too happy. It's not good. You're not a good person. Let's take some messages from people that may be good. Tayo says,
Chelsea were no longer consistent. That's right. The change of cloth and haircut didn't cut it. Life truly isn't fair. I'll prefer Zidane or Hasni or Enrique and Nagelsmann aren't it?
Oh,
the English press will eat him alive.
Yeah, and like I said, there's no long-term contract in Chelsea. They don't have philosophy. They don't have time for philosophy. They have time for trophies. Come in, win, or you go. This one is from Big E from K2. He says,
Tega, what a wicked weekend. Man City and Arsenal are chasing the Premier League 4-1. A reason Jesus keeps scoring with joy. Rodgers and Potter being sacked. Man, you are yet to score after winning the Carabao Cup. Napoli losing to AC Milan 4-0. This shows Victor Osimhen is a jollof spice in their team.
All right, so let's take this call. Hello, good morning. All right, go right ahead. What do you think about the Pottergate situation?
I think the sack came a little bit late because the Chelsea project is bigger than Potter, if you ask me. Looking at the fact that where he's coming from Brighton. Though Brighton were doing well when they employed him. But looking at the project, Chelsea, they don't have time for you to come and start building. No, win 12 is like you rightly said. I also think they should have gotten a coach that will just short fix till the end of the season. Then they'll get a better coach that will now take over the team. Because if you come with, because we have coaches who can manage crisis, if we whether like it or not, Chelsea is in crisis. So with a short fixed coach, I think that would have been better. But this one, we don't. It's coming from Germany. Is a complete, total different ball game. But I just hope because without Chelsea in the Premiership, I don't think Premiership will be anything. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I just want to reiterate that Nagelsmann has not been guaranteed the job. He's just favored to get the job. But we've been talking about Chelsea tears and joy. Can we talk about Manchester United, please?
Okay, now a frustrated Manchester United players held a meeting without manager Erik ten Hag after they were humbled in a 2-0 loss to Newcastle United on Sunday.
Now, there are two reasons why players will have an only players meeting. One is that they feel like they're failing their manager. The second one is that they feel that the manager is failing them. I don't know I don't know what discussion went on in that room. I would say this though. The thing with, again, when you see Manchester lose under Erik ten Hag, they lose in exactly the same way. It's same thing with Pep Guardiola. When you see his team lose, the problems are the same. So whether it's from Barcelona to Bayern Munich or Manchester City, they were losing the same way. You know, they dominate possession and somebody just take the ball and be like, you be playing around, we'll score, and then we'll lock shop. And so you can see where the struggle is. It was in the midfield. Again, yesterday, they were completely outplayed, and I thought, okay, second half, maybe when they went into the dressing room, there'd be a discussion, they'd come out with a few changes. It was still the same. And I know some people say, oh, Casemiro was missing, and Manchester United struggles without Casemiro. But I don't think that was that's one problem, but I don't think that was the only problem in the team. They were second to every ball. They were slow of pace, out of rhythm, out of sync. A lot of things were off with them. And then he now says, okay, maybe it's the center half pairing. So he took out two of his best center halves for the season, Martinez and Varane, brought in two more, and they scored the second one just to show him that was not the problem. So it's a Ten Hag thing. Again, these people that have an idea or a philosophy or a style with how they play, people, most in general, because they have that style and it's worked for them, they don't tend to tweak it or change it based on the opposition they face, and then they lose like this in dramatic style. So sometimes it makes them predictable, as great as it is, and I think that's where Erik ten Hag's struggle is the fact that he hasn't yet realized that he's playing in the Premier League, and sometimes your style or your tactics doesn't matter. They will just overrun it, and you have to tweak something, and because he's not flexible like that, that's where his team struggles. So tough loss for Manchester United. I'm sure the players will be telling themselves that they could have done better, which they could have, but ultimately it also comes down to the manager sometimes. You know, the players have their own rules. They are the ones on the pitch. They are the ones that are supposed to execute the plan. So yes, rightly, they should talk to themselves and say, you know what, we didn't do what we're supposed to do. But also the managers too. Just know that the team you are facing is not the same team you were facing yesterday. And yes, the fact that you beat them in the League Cup, you have to take a lot of things into consideration. They're missing some key men. It's not like Manchester didn't create a few chances, but they're missing some key men. They were not in great form at the time. So just watch the game and then tweak as you go. That's why I like Zizou. If it's not working for him, change it. It doesn't even need to get to after. It's just like 30 minutes. Look, you're not doing well. Come out. I like people like that can just switch up.
Is there a chance that Zizou could come to Chelsea?
I don't know, because Zizou was really waiting for that France job, and then he didn't get it. But Zizou is not. See, the thing with Zizou is that he doesn't like that Chelsea job. He may not be able to take it just because of the manager. He just be like, I don't like the way Todboli is. That's how Zizou is. He's very straight and narrow. Yeah. You can't negotiate with him. All right, let's do the next story.
Okay, and that would be our last story because we are out of time.
All right, so it was Milan beating Napoli yesterday by 4 goals. And like somebody mentioned, Victor Osimhen was not on the pitch, but I don't think, again, that was the sole problem. First of all, they're just coming from international break. Everybody's coming in different forms and in the different ways. Then also, this is not the first time Napoli has struggled against a fellow contender, even if the closest contender is almost 20 points behind. Right. So they struggled like this against Juventus. So I think they have a thing. But the good news is that they lost this battle. but they could still win the Scudetto war. The downside is that they get to face AC Milan 2 more times in the Champions League.
Okay.
All right, and that's all we can take. Sorry, Lame from abroad, Emeka Onelum, Imo from Ikeja, Ejike, Tayo, and Temi from Ibadan. We can't read your messages now, but we will come back on Wednesday and we'll take it from there. All right.
All right. Do stay with us. There's a lot more to come on Smooth Breakfast.
Rainbow View.
Yeah.
Every
That was loud.